Truly, I believe this is one of the strangest stories that I've covered in my 20 plus years of being on the film beat.
I thought that Warner wasn't telling us the truth with Zack Snyder.
Certain executives really wanted to copy and mirror Marvel. They had an idea of what the product should look like, and they wanted, I think, to pick up the Marvel audience.
Good. It's time then.
And then what we ended up getting was trying to please everyone and then satisfying really no one.
Holy God.
It was a bit of a mess, let's say.
You overestimate yourself.
Like, just watch the fans go back and compare trailers, behind the scenes clips, making of things.
I kind of thought, well, I'm sure there's a cut of Justice League here that we haven't seen of Zack Snyder. So I just said, hashtag release the Snyder cut, and then it just kind of blew up after that.
And then, of course, you know, over the past few months, to see the wild events that the Snyder Cut Army has put together, either at San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, flying a plane over Burbank, like just to get their voices out there.
What happened today is history.
To me, Release the Snyder Cut is comprised of tragedy, hope, but ultimately redemption.
Yeah, we did it!
I never thought that anything like this was possible. I've never seen a movement like this before.
So many people said we wouldn't do it. So many people said it didn't exist. So many people said that it was a pipe dream.
In the future, the companies will think twice before destroying the hard work of a director.
I believe in truth. But I'm also a big fan of justice.
Everyone was pretty hyped for that movie, especially after BBS. And then I kept seeing like articles online like that he was fired and that Warner Brothers didn't like his movie, and seeing that maybe that was an excuse used to get him out, which was really upsetting to me and sad.
Zack did leave the project. Obviously, Warner Brothers decided that this was the time to make a reactionary move due to the less than stellar critical reception of Batman v Superman and Man of Steel.
Because Marvel was doing so well, and they were doing well. Like, they have it off to a T, the formula and an audience. So I think they were self-conscious of getting that Marvel money more than anything, and that was led to kind of changes and people trying to do their own thing and wanted their own stamp on it, really.
They were conspiring behind the scenes to replace Zack or get him to compromise and change, and I think that's why some things happened. And as soon as the awful tragedy occurred, and Zack walked away, they were ready to jump straight in and make it their own version of what they thought was the money-making train, but obviously history shows that it wasn't.
Virtually all of it was cut. And then Fabian Wagner, the cinematographer, comes out and says he saw theatrical cut, and he estimates somewhere between 10 to 15% of what they shot made it into theatrical.
Only 1 hour of Zack Snyder was in 121 minutes of the Joss Whedon movie. Only 1 hour. And if you think that the Snyder Cut has 240 minutes, you can realize how much movie we didn't see.
What's on your weird mind?
It might be a 4-hour cut of a movie. It might be a 6-part, episodic chapter breakup. I like the mystery of that. I don't know what it's going to be. Zack apparently wants to go back and refilm some stuff.
I just remember going and seeing the movie and thinking like, this doesn't seem right. It feels like it's a movie made by two different people.
Honestly, even though he gets a lot of hate, I think that Whedon did try to do his best. I think that as a director, he didn't come there and say, yeah, I will ruin this guy's movie. To me, he was just put in a very rough situation and did the best he could.
At some point, there's going to be like really intense scenes, like Wonder Woman cutting Steppenwolf's head off. I just feel like Warner Brothers wasn't feeling that, and they just went for another route. But now with the Joker being so dark, people love that.
He changed the tone of the movie. Too much comedy. All the arc of characters like Cyborg were taken out. Cyborg was in the heart of the movie.
The difference between Justice League theatrical cut and Zack Snyder's Justice League is literally day and night. Characters were not there at all, like Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, Darkseid are all going to be making appearances.
Sam Benjamin, he's in the film too, and he was never in the Justice League cut, the Justice League, the Josh Whedon made. So he said he was in 25 minutes to 30 minutes of scenes.
My personal opinion, I'm most hyped for Martian Manhunter. He was my favorite leaguer. I was one of those guys that when they watched Man of Steel was like, but that guy, maybe he has the voice, the character, the attitude, so maybe.
The characters that I really want to see in Zack Snyder's version, as opposed to what we saw in the theatrical, is Flash. I think Flash got completely shortchanged in the theatrical cut. Like, there's a scene where Flash, before they're about to confront Steppenwolf for the first time, where Flash turns to Batman and says,
"Full transparency, I've never done battle. I've just pushed some people and run away."
And when people asked Zack directly about that, Zack was like, what the f***? Like, that's not a scene. What are you talking about? And it's weird that they, in an effort to make Flash comedic relief, that they took away his heroism.
Dostoevsky.
I really want to see Wonder Woman being who she really is. From the old Justice League, I didn't really get that. There's some scenes that I found comfortable with. And so this one is like my Wonder Woman, the one that everybody wants to see, the strong, powerful girl.
You're an inspiration, Diana. You don't just save people. You make them see their better selves.
I mean, you're going to see a redemption. You're going to see Black Suit Superman in all his glory when Superman returns. You're going to see Ben Affleck's Batman being that grizzled, badass Batman that we saw in BVS, instead of more of that campy thing style we saw in the theatrical cut.
I knew you didn't bring me back because you like me. I don't. Not.
And then same with everyone else. Ray Fisher, he's getting his redemption as Cyborg in this one. I mean, his whole story was butchered. Zack Snyder called him the heart of the movie. So if you're a Cyborg fan, this is going to be a crazy thing for you.
It's not just a director's cut. It's not even an ultimate edition. It's quite literally a different movie. I think we've worked out that only roughly half an hour of what you saw in the theatrical cut is actually in the Snyder cut, because they reshot almost the whole film. So it is a different movie, and I love the way it's been branded as Zack Snyder's Justice League to highlight that.
It's been more than just a film. People say that the Snyder Cut movement is toxic, that we're negative towards people that say it doesn't exist, but they never kind of highlight the good stuff that the movement has done in terms of charity.
The charitable aspect of the release of Snyder Cut is honestly one of the things that caught my eye and made me most interested in telling their story.
Pretty early on, after Justice League came out, the need to give back was apparent from the Snyder Cut fandom. We were all feeling for Zack Snyder. And I think the first time that it ever happened was around the time Justice League Blu-ray was coming out. And the fans decided that instead of purchasing the Blu-ray, they're going to be donating the cost of that Blu-ray to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
During the shoot of the Justice League movie, Zack Snyder's daughter, Alden, Snyder, passed away, and it was a tragic, event. These people in the movement, they really wanted to just not support Zack's movie, but they wanted to create campaigns to help, make donations for the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention.
We always had a tradition, should we say, of that whatever we had to raise for an event, we had to match that as a donation to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention in honor of Autumn Snyder, to show our level of support.
I first realized that these guys were going above and beyond at San Diego Comic-Con 2019 when they took over bus stops and billboards around town where they blasted "Release the Snyder Cut." I was like, oh, these guys are really taking this way more seriously than I thought. I thought it was just a Twitter thing with the hashtag. A couple months after that Comic-Con, they took over New York Comic-Con and they bought a Times Square billboard. And that's when I was like really sitting up and paying attention to like, wow, these guys are super invested.
The billboard in Times Square was something shocking to see something like that in New York, in one of the most iconic places in the world, was breathtaking. All the people that did it deserve a credit. All the Release the Snyder Cut fans that donated even $1, even wrote one tweet. I think they all deserve this win as their own.
And everyone that was a part of it would come up with these billboard ads or bus stop ads, and they're like, all right, let's see if we can get this money raised. And within days, weeks, it would be raised.
Along the way, companies that have joined the campaign and helped promote, Subway have come on board a few months ago, and they gave away tens of thousands of free meals to homeless people if we hit a certain amount of tweets for them. Wendy's also joined the campaigning with us.
I mean, it's almost $200,000 raised for the AFSP through either t-shirt campaigns, which, I mean, they're some of the coolest shirts I own, to be honest.
It's all going towards charity. Even the thing that was on Harley Quinn, the Harley Quinn show, the release the Snyder Cut t-shirt, they were sold, and that goes towards charity as well. So it's been all, I've met so many people who I haven't come face to face with, but I've met online through this movement. And they're going to be my friends for the rest of my life.
After I won the contest, one of the first things I did is use my art to be part of the charity as well. So I created a campaign with my art design on the t-shirt with ink to the people, and all donation made to it will go straight to the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention.
There's a belief that that the Snyder Cut people are selfish. They fight for artistic integrity, but they're additionally doing it to raise awareness for suicide prevention on behalf of Autumn Snyder, and that could not be more touching and emotional to me, and it shows how selfless these people are. And it's that aspect of the movement that I would love to celebrate, and will never stop celebrating, even when the Snyder Cut is on HBO Max.
We all say it, even if the movie never were to get announced, we would keep fighting because it's a great cause.
What I think that movement is really about is what a tragic situation, if handled with care, with love, and with passion, can lead to something greater than what could have been before.
The November 17th trending event is the one that caught the executives at Warner Brothers' eye and finally made them realize that this was not going to go away, that they almost had to come to the table and negotiate.
It was a symbolic thing that we all wanted to do, to say that it's 2 years since the day we didn't get the film we were advertised.
That day we had already organised the event to get hashtag release Snyder Cut trending, because it was the anniversary of the initial release of the film.
We also had word that Zack really needed us to trend big as part of his negotiations, to show that there is still a demand and that it is worth investing in.
But we didn't expect to see Ben Affleck, who said he was done with the role, to tweet hashtag release the Snyder Cut, and Gal Gadot and Ray Fisher and Jason Momoa.
Generally the out there comes true. Let's hope it does. Release the Snyder Cut, baby!
I believe Gal Gadot was the first one who got on it, if I remember well. And it was just insane.
The woman that I love so much, Gal Gadot, finally she posted release the Snyder Cut, and I could not believe it. For me, it was so surreal.
I was watching Arrow the last season, but Ben Affleck just tweeted, "What is happening?" To me, that shows how Ben wasn't very happy. Let's say with the reshoots, wasn't very happy with the whole situation.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
It was Zack who called him and said, "Hey, look, these guys are doing this thing. Can you voice your support?" And Ben said, "Zack, I love you. I'll do whatever you need." And he got it done.
It showed me that Hollywood is not a soulless place. It's a place where things like friendship, things like respect really, really matter.
Like, I was the first to tweet the hashtag, but the hashtag wouldn't be anything without everybody involved, without the entire movement.
Close to 1 million tweets, I think over 1 million tweets, people hashtagging it. The single highest hashtag for a movie that DC or Warner Brothers have ever had. And that was for a movie that people were saying doesn't even exist.
And it was a ripple effect. It got people's attention, and it was just an amazing day that we all still talk about, how crazy it was that we trended so big and so hard, and everyone tweeted all day. I know I did. I got suspended a couple of times from Twitter. I had to prove I was a person, and I probably annoyed quite a few of my followers that aren't Snyder Cut supporters, but it was only for a day.
We made history. The people who contributed made history that day, and I think it's a day that's not going to be forgotten when telling the story of the Snyder Cut.
Zack Snyder held a Man of Steel watch party, and I'll tell you that even in the back of the minds of the Snyder Cut faithful, you never want to believe that it's going to happen until it finally happens.
The movie ends and I see Henry pop up and I was like, oh my God, no. I was like, no way.
At different points throughout the course of the Release the Snyder Cut movement, the other members of the Justice League have all weighed in.
We're just sitting around doing nothing. Release the Snyder Cut, am I right?
Ben Affleck used the hashtag Release the Snyder Cut on November 17th. Gal Gadot used the hashtag. Henry was always kind of silent, and so to see him show up at the end of the Man of Steel watch party on Vero was, in and of itself, groundbreaking.
Because I didn't think Zack was going to do it. So when Henry came up, I was like, oh my God, it's Henry Cavill. Like, because everyone was saying he was done as Superman, and like he's here with Zack. So I was like, we're going to get Superman back. So then I knew when Henry came out, they're going to announce the cut. Like, so just so excited.
It's instant that there's no bad blood between these two. Like they have a chemistry from making two films together, Man of Steel, BVS, that is just palpable. In addition to Henry, it was fans. They start to join the Vero Zoom stream, and it cemented how much this movement and how much Zack is aware of his fan base and how everything he's kind of doing to move this forward is for the fans who he recognizes have been the ones on the front line of these battles.
And I'm like, all right, who's going to ask the question? Like, it has to come up. Who's going to ask it?
And the final one, of course, was when will you release the Snyder Cut?
I have a question.
Yeah.
That is the mother of all our questions as a fandom.
Oh, really?
Yes. That's serious.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
I'm scared.
I'm scared of it too.
Yeah,
Yes.
me too.
When will you release the Snyder Cut?
There it is.
Zack says, oh, it's not up to me. If it was up to me, it would be already out. So I had this like hit in my stomach. I was like, oh no. I was like, I'm ready for the letdown. And then he was like, oh, well, I do have something. And Henry's like, oh, I reckon you should show it. And the screen flipped.
He said it, he showed the poster, and everyone just went nuts.
Booyah.
Finally, after 3 years of fighting, we got the Snyder Cut's gonna get released, and a lot of people did not believe us. A lot of people actually just, were very negative about it and like, oh, it's a pipe dream. Like, it's never gonna happen.
And then honestly, I just let out the loudest scream to just like a cathartic release of, I can't believe this is an actual thing.
And I started crying. Like, I posted a picture on Twitter where I was crying. I was like, oh my God.
It was jubilation. It was happiness. It was a feeling of almost vindication. It was a feeling of redemption. Happiness for Zack Snyder. Happiness for his entire Justice League crew. But also happy for the fans who put hours and hours asking for it. Especially the ones who did it respectfully and all the campaign. Especially, I want to highlight the charity, which without that, I think that was a true north for this campaign, raising close to $200,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
I always thought that it would come out eventually, like whether it be next year or like a Donner cut in like 20 years. I always thought it would come out. I never had that doubt, but it's very surreal. I still feel like everyone's playing this really elaborate prank on me. Everyone's in on it but me. That's how I feel.
I teared up, man. I just cried for like 10 minutes because this means a lot to me, because I know how hard it's been for Snyder himself and his family and what he's been through.
Today, we finally proved that with like a group of people that have passion for something, when we get together and you build such a strong fandom, you can make things happen. You can be heard. And so it's a big day for that, for celebrating a victory. And I'm super excited.
Listen, every good story needs an ending, and this is the best possible ending for Zack Snyder.
It's real. It's coming. So get ready. It's going to be amazing. And we're still going to keep fighting for the AFSP.
My name is Massimiliano Lione, and I've been on this movement from the very start.
So I started in this movement in March of 2018 is when I first heard about it.
I cosplay Wonder Woman, and I have always supported Zack since I started this whole cosplay.
Many people love my review of Batman v Superman, because I was one of the few who love it.
My name is Sean O'Connell. I am the managing director of Cinema Blend, and I've been tracking the progress of the Snyder Cut movement for about a year and a half now.
I'm Najid, and I'm from India. I've created this website with the help of my friends called SnyderCut.com.
My name is Victor Koo. I'm known as Mighty Pegasus Art. Recently, there was a Zack Snyder Justice League fan art contest that I won with my art.
My name is Sean Maher, and I was the first person to tweet #release the Snyder Cut.
I was one of the first journalists who were actively reporting on the Snyder Cut being a thing, being something that's real and not like a myth.
My role in the Release the Snyder Cut community is generally being somebody that's taken part in most of the events, and in particular running the GoFundMe accounts.
Glad I didn't miss this.